to turn. Oh, no, fine. Wow, I cannot believe how many people showed up just to see me. And like half of you are wondering, does she know what it means to open? I do, but let me have this while I'm here. I was an accident. My birth was not an on-purpose thing. And I know this because I'm the second child. I have an older brother. And no two parents look down at the child that they already have and think to themselves, you know what would really add to this emotional and financial burden? Another one. So I was an accident. But I've made my peace with that. I think it's character building, you know, I can show my parents, like, look, I'm doing stand-up comedy. And they're very proud of me. But, you know, it's quite character building. I'd go as far to say as even if I were to adopt a child, I still want them to think it was on accident. You know, like I just forgot they were in the cart and I clicked checkout. There was free shipping, it happened so fast, and there you were. But that's character building. My parents, I think they got a little more than they bargained for when they got me as a child. I grew up too quickly, and I don't mean that in like a sexually maturing way at all. I wore a black sweatshirt, Quicksilver, the skating company, and a backwards red baseball cap from kindergarten through middle school. So I looked like every annoying younger little brother character from any movie from the 90s. My outfit just screamed, oh, come on, I want to play with the big kids. So no one was worried about me sexually maturing too quickly. Not a concern. But I matured in other ways. I used to play, one of my favorite games that I would play is I used to pretend to own my own insurance company. And I wouldn't even make myself the CEO. I'd be like the desk jockey. I get a thrill out of filling out paperwork and filing claims and like pretending to complain around the water cooler about the big guy upstairs, but my house is on one floor. But the game mostly consisted of me forcing my brother to take out various life insurance policies, and then later accusing him of insurance fraud, which would lead to a lengthy arbitration process. Mother would get involved. Dinner would be delayed, and everyone had to go to bed an hour early. You know how the legal system can be. But my insurance company wasn't the only sign that I had potential. I recently found a book that I wrote when I was about 5. It's called The Otter That Never Wanted to Grow Up. And I found books and works of art from my childhood before, but this piece of literature stood out among the rest, and I couldn't figure out why. Let me see if you can figure it out. The table of contents reads as follows. Chapter 1, pretty sad. Chapter 2, sorta happy. And finally, chapter 3, yelling. Now, I couldn't figure out, this book kept sticking with me, I couldn't figure out why it was so special, and then it hit me. The Otter That Never Wanted to Grow Up by Clara Becker, that's me, bore a striking resemblance to Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 Stages of Grief and Loss. So at the mere age of 5, through my own personal research, I had stumbled across a theory that had effectively shaken the world of psychology and turned it upon its head. 5 years old. I know, it's clear I have a gift. Thank you. And lately, I've been thinking about how I can extend this gift. You know, how can I share it with the good people? So I thought about becoming a teacher recently. I think I have pretty good interpersonal skills. Not to brag, but when I was growing up, my mother did read a book called Raising Emotionally Intelligent Teens. Because at that point, she had given up on the more mainstream academic form of intelligence that other parents were rooting for. But that's okay. One weakness I foresee in my work with children is that they see me too much as an equal. My therapist tells me I'm going through this stage right now called delayed adolescence. And it's very common in people with extreme anxiety disorders like me. What it basically means is that I was just too nervous to be a teenager before. So I have to do that all now. So if anyone is looking to go yell at their parents to leave them alone and then go split a beer 4 ways in someone's basement, hit me up. That is what I'm into right now. To be fair though, I do have a fair amount of experience working with kids. I worked as a teacher at a middle school summer school for a couple of years. And I know I'm not the first person to say this, nor will I be the last, but you do not understand the meaning of the word demoralization until you've worked with middle schoolers. There is just so much going on inside of them in terms of puberty, and they just want to make sure that everyone is as miserable as they are at all times. And they're more attuned to natural selection than the rest of us. So they pounce on any signs of weakness. It's something to watch, like Animal Kingdom. I think most remarkable of all is their middle schoolers' powers are actually heightened during the summer. A lot of people don't know that, but that's been proven by science. Anyway, one day I had this, when I was working in the program, I had this horrible allergic reaction, and one of my eyes swole completely shut. And I was hoping to have some sort of form of sympathy from the children, or at the very least, that they would have the decency to overlook the deformity on my face. But instead, these children had gotten together collectively to decide to exclusively refer to me as, quote, a less talented Fetty Wap for the duration of the And I think what was most hurtful about this nickname was that of all the differences between myself and Mr. Wap, why they had to hone in on the talent aspect. Talent is such a relative term, and they were just so quick to disregard me. So that was unfortunate. But I also had the misfortune of working at the camp during the summer that the "what are those" trend really took off. And let me just say, the children showed no mercy when it came to my medical grade orthotic shoes that I had to wear for my chronic knee condition. So what would happen is one child would see them and they'd go, "What are those?" And then they would signal to the rest of the children, "What are those?" They're coming out of the rafters, crawling towards me, exorcism style. "What are those?" And you'd be impressed with the coordination if it wasn't so deeply hurtful. I think mostly. And as I'm looking out onto the sea of chanting monsters, it occurs to me that some of these children were on purpose. You know, some of their parents wanted them, which has led me to the conclusion that either you're born an accident or you live long enough to see yourself become a regret. Anyway, with that in mind, this has been my petition to declare my major for the Child Studies Department at Santa Clara University. Thank you so much for your consideration, and thank you.